I hear, Maria, that Secretary Clinton is almost
making her way
behind
here.
you.
Yeah. This is the second time she's coming to the Philippines. The first time was in 1996, as when she was then the wife of the president,
First Lady.
the First Lady, and now she's coming back in her own right as the most powerful and perhaps the most popular U.S. diplomat. Right behind us, coming in, is Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Everyone, please, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, you said how exciting. We're certainly excited to have this chance to talk to you, Secretary Clinton. Welcome to the Philippines, and please have a seat.
Thank you. Well, it's wonderful being back and at this great university, which I just learned has a total of 44,000 students, the rector told me. That's amazing. So I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you for coming. And I know since we have you for such a short period of time, we've got all of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao waiting for your words. So let me just quickly toss the first question at you, which is, we've been talking about you, all the highs and lows of your life. What a fantastic life, jam-packed, full of firsts. The first woman this, first woman female partner in your law firm, first woman senator from New York, first woman to run for president, and now perhaps the most powerful and perhaps most popular with the most popular U.S. diplomat. So given all of this, for the women here and the young students, what advice would you give women who are moving from how to deal with disappointments, going from the lows to get to those highs?
Oh, Maria. Well, let me say first that I think every person has the opportunity to make the most of their own lives. But what I have learned over time is that talent is universal, but opportunity may not be. And part of what is happening at this university is helping to equip young people, young men and young women, with the tools that you can use for your own lives. But every life faces challenges. There is no life that I know of, having lived as long as I have now, that doesn't. But with faith and with perseverance and persistence and a sense of mission and purpose in your life, you can keep going and make a contribution. And service is what has been at the center of my life. I never really thought when I was your age that I would be in politics or that I would ever be the Secretary of State of the United States. But I always wanted to make a contribution, particularly to children, because I think children deserve all of the support that we can give them. Their families deserve support so they can do a better job for their children. So this has been a remarkable honor for me to have had the chance to serve. And I really hope that there will be a lot of young people here who are students who take advantage of this wonderful education to find ways to serve as well. The Philippines needs you. You know, one of the great exports of this country are your people. And everywhere I go in the world, I meet Filipinos who are doing everything, every kind of job, making every kind of contribution. We're so proud to have millions of Filipino Americans, but I think this country also needs your educated approach and your commitment. So that's what I've enjoyed doing and what I feel strongly about, and I'm just happy to be here with all of you.
Thank you.
All right, Secretary Clinton, you talked about talent. Let me introduce to you one of Ateneo de Manila's top basketball players.
Good.
His name is Chris Chiu. He has a question for you.
Thank you, Chris.
Good morning, Madam Secretary.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. What position do you play?
I play shooting guard.
Oh, good.
Yes.
How high is your vertical
Oh,
jump?
not very high. I can touch the rim, though. I have two questions for you, if you don't mind. Here's my first question. My good friend, Ambassador Christy Kenny, told me that you are appalled by the poverty situation here in the country. So my question for you is, how do you think the youth can best get engaged in reducing poverty in our country?
Well, first let me say that the Philippines has been making progress. The income level has risen, which is very significant. But you know, because you live here, that there's a lot of work still to be done. I think education is one of the most important ways of fighting poverty. I think providing health care so that young people are able to take advantage of their hard work and they have a really positive future. I think that having a good partnership between your government and your people to tackle the problems of poverty is absolutely critical. You know, the United States wants to be a good partner. We are trying to look at ways that we can provide more assistance to the Philippines to tackle poverty. Infrastructure is important, namely roads and as you saw with these terrible recent storms, trying to fix some of the flooding conditions, some of the sanitation conditions. There's a lot of work to be done, but I've been impressed at how the government has been working on this, but we need to do even more. And ultimately, people themselves have to take responsibility and organize themselves. There are lots of ways that community groups can be organized to work for better services, to have a voice in the political system, to make sure that the needs of the poor are not marginalized or overlooked. So there's a lot that can be done, and I really encourage the young people here to think creatively about that. I mean, what could you do as an individual? What could you do as part of a group here at the university that would tackle some of this? And the final thing I would say is that there are big issues that can only be addressed by big solutions. But there's an individual approach that could always work. You know, mentoring a poor child, making sure that a poor child has somebody to look up to, somebody that you can be there in his or her life to encourage that child to stay in school, to really help that child get over the challenges and the bumps that happen in any life. Those kind of mentoring programs, those big brother, big sister programs, you know, it's one life at a time that I think is also an important part of an overall attempt to try to alleviate poverty.
Thank you very much, ma'am. On a lighter note, I'd just like to ask, since most of us Filipinos here are sports fanatics, particularly with basketball and boxing, we'd like to know if you follow any sport in particular. Do you have a favorite NBA team? And lastly, I'm sure all of us here would like to know, what do you think will be the result this Sunday between Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto?
Let's see how much of a diplomat Secretary Clinton is.
Well, I have heard that basketball and boxing are pretty big here in the Philippines, right? And so for basketball, I have followed two teams. I'm originally from Chicago. That's where I was born and raised. And so I followed the Chicago Bulls, particularly when Michael Jordan was there. And then I was a senator from New York, so I have followed the Knicks, but that's kind of discouraging. So I follow it, but it's hard to get as enthusiastic as I would like to. Now, the Knicks are trying maybe to get LeBron James. Now, that would make it very exciting in New York. So I'll watch that. I'm not sure exactly what will happen. And of course, the Pac-Man's going to win. I mean, is there any doubt?